Hey guys, and welcome to episode 10. 10, can you episode 10 of Hollerachia podcast. This is honestly, it's an honor to have made it this far, and I've had the quality of guests we've had so far, and just that we're here now, and this is such a big moment for us, and just to have the guests we have on today is such a cool thing. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and do my awkward intro that I do every time. So first of all, I want to give a shout out to Ethan Moore and WSKV Studios for opening up their space to us in here to record these sessions and bring this music to you. They've been great friends to us and great supporters, and we're so happy to have them as friends here. And also, as with the past several episodes, we've been really leaning into flood relief and disaster relief in Eastern Kentucky and Appalachia. And just to remind you, the best way to donate, if you want to contribute to make sure that the money gets to the places it needs to go through the Foundation of Appalachian Kentucky. They can really direct you on ways to donate in a very effective manner. You can find them online. Also, check out the Appalachian Pioneer Program. Austin Shuck is doing some great things, and he's doing some really big disaster relief things as well. And he can certainly direct you towards a very viable channel to get that money to where it needs to go. Also, want to just shout out our friends over next door at Holler, Brett Nolan, Shala, and Bob. They've been good friends to us as well, and just want to give them a little plug here. So, as I said, we're kind of circling back. I am thrilled to have the guest here sitting for episode 10. I have known this girl since she was knee-high to a woolly worm, to quote Aaron Boyd. I've known her for a very long time, and to say she is talented is an understatement. She's phenomenal. I've seen her growth. I've seen her development, and she is doing some big things. She's written some amazing music and really been really aggressive on the circuit out there. But I would like to introduce you now to Mrs. Hannah Wheeler.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me. No,
I just attribute it like she's not married.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
I appreciate you having me so much, Brandon.
Anyway, how are you doing?
I'm doing really well.
I actually haven't talked to you in a while. So we went to church for a long time together.
We did,
for a very long
yes,
time. And obviously that's how I've known you since you were itty bitty. Because we went to church. But how you been? How you been doing?
I've been doing really good. I have a day job too, so I'm teaching, and then on the weekends I play whenever I can.
I've seen that. So so you're like education. So tell me a little bit about that. What have you been going into?
Well, I went to Morehead State, and then I majored in elementary education, and then I also did like preschool to all the way to 12th grade. I can teach. So in special ed. So right now I'm teaching grades 3 through 5 special ed.
SPED is a very tough thing. Well, mom of Kristen, she has a social work degree. She did some stuff with special needs kids.
Yes.
In Louisiana and Kentucky. Yeah. She obviously, just the way the pay structure is in Kentucky, she actually had to get out of that and go to something else. But it's a tough job. It really is. But it is so wholesome, and it is such an important thing. So how'd you get interested in that?
Well, like you said, I want to say it's very rewarding, like you said. I got interested in that because in high school, I had a friend who was autistic. And he was actually much younger than me. He was a freshman, and I was a senior. And I always wanted to be a nurse, believe it or not. I feel like that's what everybody says, that's a teacher. But I always wanted to be a nurse because I wanted to help people. And then I always wanted to be really involved with children. So I was like, I'll be a pediatric nurse, like from the time I was little. From the time you knew me to now. And then I got to my senior year of high school and I met him. And I realized the difference that I could make in people's lives that have disabilities if I worked with them. So I decided that I wanted to work with them, and I went to school to be a special ed teacher. So
that's amazing. It really is. Like when you learn that skill set to really kind of bring out the strengths and of people like that fall on that spectrum. And for so long they were just like all these I guess all these they were kind of fit into like this one little fit all kind of pocket for a long time. But it's only recently they've really started exploring, that spectrum and just kind of showing like how, everybody falls in a different way in a different place. And to really kind of understand that and tap into that, it's a big deal. And it really is. I feel like we're moving in a very good direction.
I'm very glad for the findings that they've had recently, because, it wasn't that long ago that we've had all these laws come into place that these people actually have rights and say
Yeah.
to do really anything with their life.
Absolutely.
So
and there's social programs that are coming out that actually like, embolden them and strengthen and empower them to do this stuff. It's great. Like we're not a one size fit all kind of a culture anymore.
No, we're not.
And I love that.
Yes.
It's a very big deal.
Yes, it is a big deal. I love to see that.
Very cool. Very cool. See, there was a moment where I humored education. I entertained it.
Yeah.
I was a sophomore in college. I had enough hours to become a sub. Day one, they threw me into 6th grade.
No.
Yeah. I was like, okay, yeah. Throw me to the wolves, guys.
Yeah.
Really, literally, they tore me apart. Those kids made me cry.
I believe it. I mean, 6th grade, that's a brutal age group.
I mean, middle school's a jungle anyway, but to throw me into like the absolute, I guess, most chaos filled classroom. I got initiated, I guess.
Yeah.
After that, day one, I didn't accept any job in the middle school ever again. Like I stayed at the high school. High school was kind of my pocket, I kind of hung up I just hang out with the seniors, cut up with them and, just get paid for it. And but after that, that made me realize, I was like, maybe education ain't so much for me.
I've seen like posts where people are like it's like a meme that everybody should do a day 7, like jury duty.
Like jury duty, exactly. It really does feel like I don't know how to describe it.
You've been summoned.
Okay, so I have twins, man. A little tornado and a hurricane on fire, and to deal with like 30 of them at the same time. I mean, because sixth graders, they're not that far separated maturity wise.
Right.
Because, once you get past elementary school, you something happens in between 5th and 6th. And once they hit 6, it's just like they lose their absolute minds.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a very formative age. I mean, I get it. But yeah, there was a time that I entertained education and I abandoned that pretty quick. But that's when I started writing for the Kentucky Kernel and I discovered I like journalism. So that's where we are now. It just took me another 15 years from UK to actually working at the paper to actually do what I went to school for.
Well, that's all right. We all have stepping stones.
That's fun. And then branching into the multimedia space, like I tell people all the time, I love this part of the media that I do now.
Yeah.
Because really, at the core, I'm just a music fan, pretending to be a media personality. I'm just getting to sit people like I would pay money to see.
Yeah.
Talking to really talented people, like more talented than me.
Oh my goodness.
And just like picking y'all's brains is like, this is a treat. This is an absolute treat to be able to do this. And like, I'm not making any money off it yet, but at the same time, just to be able to, have these conversations is so cool.
Yeah. I've met a lot of cool people. So the guests that you've had and you were mentioning, I guarantee you had some good talks.
We've had some wonderful guests in here. But you're one of them though. I mean, like, and it is such a treat to have you here also because
thank you for having me.
We haven't had a female guest on here since episode 2, the Sonic Daisies.
Yeah.
Shouts out to Sonic Daisies. And episode 1 was there by Terry. So since then, it's been nothing but men.
Oh, wow. Well.
And now I'm used to being the prettiest one on camera. And now so, I got to take a step back and readjust.
Oh.
No, I'm playing. But no, I do really thank you for coming down here.
Well, I appreciate y'all having me.
But now that's kind of a little bit about your background and stuff, kind of musically now. So you've been playing music for a long time. I know because I've seen you, like I said, come up and develop and grow and come into yourself musically.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll kind of start from the very beginning. So what earliest beginnings of music, how would you describe you picking up your first instrument and kind of taking off?
Well, I didn't actually pick up my first instrument until like much later in life. When I was in middle school, I picked up the mandolin, believe it or not. I mean, I don't touch one now. But I started taking lessons from Zeb Faulkner. I don't know if you know Zeb. But
shout out Zeb.
Incredibly talented. Yeah, shout out to Zeb. And he kind of gave me a belief in myself that I could play an instrument. Him and his parents both, like every time I would have a lesson with him, he'd be like, you're pretty solid at like keeping the rhythm and singing at the same time, and a lot of people are not. Like that's something that takes some time to get, but like
it means a lot. Just building that confidence. Confidence is the key to everything, especially in something like this.
Absolutely. And then as far as like singing goes, I did that about 4 years before I ever picked up an instrument. And I auditioned for the school chorus at Clay City Elementary, and Jessica Hall or Jessica Begley.
Oh, hey, shouts out Jessica Begley.
Yes, absolutely.
One of the best voices in the state of Kentucky.
Yes, 100%.
For real. I want to have her on here.
She'll be a great conversation too. I love talking to her.
She's awesome. I love Jess. She's awesome.
She had that little chorus at school, and I auditioned, and I remember my sister being like, "You're not gonna make it," and I was like, I was dead set. I was like, I am making this thing now. So she came to my mom. My mom worked in the library and was like, "Did you know your daughter could sing?" And my mom was like, "No, not really," because I didn't really talk. I mean, I'm sure you remember I was shy and hid behind my mom, and people didn't really expect me to do that sort of thing. So I sang Happy Birthday, got into that. Really haven't shut up or stopped singing since, unfortunately for people.
so Happy Birthday was your bridge into everything. Okay.
Yeah. So that was the first song that I ever sang in front of like anybody that thought, there's something there. So she gave me a chance. And
very cool. Hey, shouts out Jessica Begley again. Yeah. I mean, she's a great talent scout. She is. I mean, she was a regular at Renfro for so long. I mean, just. She's great, but to have like that as a vocal coach, I can see your development blossom.
She took me to Renfro Valley with her quite a few times as a student, so that was exciting for me. I really appreciate those opportunities she gave me, and she introduced me to her mom, Connie White, who's a big name in our community too for vocal lessons, and I took from her for years. I mean, until I graduated high school and went off to college and moved off, and she definitely gave me a big belief in myself too. And I used to always want to sing in like falsetto. Yeah. And now if you know me, I do not sing in falsetto very often. Her and Jessica both made sure that I was belting just like they do. So.
Hey, it works. I've heard you play a lot. I've heard you sing a lot, and it works. But Renfro, man, that's cool. She took you to see Renfro. Is iconic. Obviously it's an iconic venue.
Yeah, very.
But it is so underappreciated. In my opinion, of course, I'm biased. Being from here, and being to that venue so many times, I put it right there with the Ramen. I mean, I'm talking about. I guess the people that have played on that stage, that passed through that stage, and what that stage has done for people's careers.
There's a lot of. I've seen a lot of people at Renfro Valley. Like I've seen Travis Tritt. We were talking about him. I've seen Loretta Lynn.
Yeah.
Who else have I seen there? I've seen the Still Drivers there, like all kinds of great people.
Pre or post Chris?
Post Chris, unfortunately, but I was listening to them in the back seat of the car whenever they had Chris, and I heard
both iterations are great.
Yeah, every single thing they put out is amazing. I remember the first time I heard Chris Stapleton as Chris Stapleton. Yeah, I used to swing like every day on the swing set. Yeah, and I would just put my earbuds in. I was way too big to be on a swing set. I would wear holes in my legs, but I would have my music in, and I would just do it for hours and hours. And I had Pandora going, and Chris Stapleton comes on his cover of Tennessee Whiskey.
No, I was gonna say Tennessee Whiskey. It's gotta be Tennessee. Yeah.
I run in the house, and I'm like. I paused it because, at the time I was in middle school, I wasn't paying for any subscriptions, but I was like, Mom, Dad, the guy that sings in the Still Drivers, I was like, this is him. I know it is. And I start playing it. Yeah. And they're like, that's him without a doubt. Like, I was like, he's coming out as a solo artist. This is awesome.
He's probably he is one of my favorite examples of somebody branching off and going solo and absolutely just, and just killing it. I'll credit Chris. I mean, obviously, Tyler did so much. Yeah. Sturgill before him just did so much. I mean, you go further back, Chris, Dwight, everybody in the scene, I'm giving a lot of Kentucky examples just because that's kind of my niche, but Chris did so much for Appalachian music. Oh, yeah. And as far as opening the door and just like making people pay attention. Mm-hmm. And Tyler did too. I mean, Tyler, when he really broke through, he refused to change his sound. Mm-hmm. And that was a big deal. Yeah. And Chris faced, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Chris kind of faced that same pressure. Oh, yeah. Like, abandon your bluegrass backgrounds. Yeah. And, coming to this cookie cutter sound, and they won't do it. Yeah. Tyler didn't do it either. Yeah. And look what it got him, man. They're selling stadiums.
I think Chris, he takes both. He had the Johnson Brothers, that was like rock. And then he also had the bluegrass. I think he kind of meshes all of it together.
That blues comes out in him so much, man.
Shows his capabilities.
Which he was in, and forgive me, I'll kick myself for not thinking of it, but he was in a Southern rock band for a while too. Yeah. They were really good.
Yeah, they are good. Is that the Johnson Brothers? That one?
Oh yeah. So that was. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, that's okay.
You're right.
He's in so many different things. You know, he's got a song on Ratatouille. I mean, cheese please. He does everything. So yeah.
he is dynamic. No, for sure. No, I love Chris, man. I've listened to him since the Steel Drivers. I mean, Can You Run, man? That was
I love that song.
I probably credit Chris Can You Run, the Steel Drivers, for really branching me into this space. I mean, I have a lot of influences that kind of, nudge me in this direction, but really, I think it was the Steel Drivers that probably really pushed me into it.
Yeah.
Like, no kidding. Awesome. Yeah. That's neat, man. Yeah, so we're about 50 minutes in. This is actually going pretty quick. So this is the point where I want to ask you, like I said, dealer's choice. Just pick us something. Well, basically, I guess choose a song and one of your originals. Let's play it, and then after you get done, we can talk about it a little bit.
Okay. I'll probably start with one of my old ones, and then we can branch into some of the newer stuff.
It was 12 o'clock on Friday when he came through the door. She looked up and smiled at him like all the time. She thought he wanted cigarettes, turns out he wanted more. Looking down his barrel, she said, take what's in the drawer. She turned to walk away from him, he knocked her to the floor. That's when she reached for me, it's time to eat the score. There won't be no restitution, pardon or parole. Receive your sentence when I lay my hair down. You won't need no jury, I'm the judge. She pulled in the driveway around 8:30. She'd be there, so he brought her today. He told her the last time this won't happen anymore. Hell hath no fury like yours. There won't be no restitution, pardon or parole. You ain't gonna need it. Where you go? Receive your sentence when I lay my hair down. You won't need no jury, I'm the judge. Justice will be swift, time passes slow, eternity lasts forever. Lord, have mercy on your soul. There won't be no restitution, pardon or parole. You ain't gonna need it. Where you go? You'll receive your sentence when I lay my hair down. You won't need no jury, I'm the judge. I'm the judge.
The fact that that's one of your earliest ones is wild to me. Just because that's such a seasoned, kind of storytelling. I mean, so anyway, just let's talk a little bit about it. So first of all, we didn't introduce at the beginning. What was the title of that track?
That one's called The Judge.
Yeah. And tell me a little bit about the background of that, the story, and kind of what went into writing that.
So my papa Ambers, he was my biggest fan that I ever had, and he was a coal miner in Perry County for over 40 years in the deep mines. And so he obviously had a lot of friends after working there that long. And when he retired, they all put in and they bought him a Taurus Judge. And he told me that, Hannah, they call it a judge because it makes the decisions.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, whatever, you know. And so he passed away about 4 years ago now. And I got that gun.
Yeah.
And I took it up to his cabin and I shot it. And I was like, yeah.
You can see what's called the Judge.
Yeah, I know what he meant now, and so
that's my daily carry. I think it's a dirty hairy gun. I'm telling you. Yeah, it's a it bucks like a horse.
Yeah, so I took that little, makes the decisions, and I thought, I gotta turn that into a song. So
that's cool. No, I love it. But you said Perry County. So you guys are, obviously you spent a lot of time in Powell County and Clay City. That's how obviously we come know each other.
Yeah.
And by way of the Hazard, you guys are from, Hazard, correct?
Well, my parents are from Breathitt County.
Or Breathitt, I'm sorry.
But
Jackson, yeah.
Yeah, right on that Hazard, Breathitt, Perry County, Breathitt line. My mom grew up there, and then my daddy grew up closer to Jackson. But yeah, definitely spent a lot of time up there in that holler, and part of it's in Perry County.
Coal mine country,
Yeah. So I have a video actually of me singing "Never Leave Harlan Alive," and it's right behind his cabin. If people go check out my stuff after this,
check it out.
But we're in an old mine that fell in, so that's pretty cool.
That is
stuff
neat
up there.
I mean, and people really don't kind of put it into context, but that's cool that you do that because people don't really, there's a lot of coal mine songs. There's a lot of stories about coal mine, but you actually get out there and you put out some content, in a coal mine, it just kind of really puts it in context. That's pretty neat. I dig that. That's pretty cool. So we kind of talked about your come up, how you got introduced in music, kind of how you got started, but tell me a little bit about, I guess, your personal influences. So I guess, once you kind of got into playing, into performing, who was you looking up to, when you first got started, to really, I guess, for lack of better terms, emulate?
Okay, yeah. Some of my biggest influences, I would say, talking like modern day people, would be like Miranda Lambert, and then Lainey Wilson. I'm a huge fan of her. As of recent, I really love Ella Langley.
Yeah.
I think they all just kind of get out there and do whatever they want. Like they are truly just who they are, and I really admire that about them. As far as like older influences, I definitely love Waylon Jennings.
Oh yeah.
I love.
You can hear the outlaw in there. Yeah, you can hear it.
Well, thank you. I love Waylon. I love. Let's see, Loretta Lynn is my biggest influence ever of all time. Yeah, I definitely shed a lot of tears whenever she left this world. But
Loretta Lynn, man, that talk about an icon or a legend around these parts.
Yeah.
It's that's definitely a name to drop for sure.
Yes.
But we are in a resurgence. I wouldn't say a resurgence. They never really left, but there's been like a lot of different iterations of females in country music over the years.
Yeah.
You had like Sarah Beth called it the blonde phase for a while. Like you had like the bleach blonde, kind of Dixie Chicks and stuff. And then we've kind of went through waves and forms of like different kind of female artists. And like one of my personal current favorites, and I pride myself in being one of the earliest discoverers of her. I was watching her on small stages before she was on stadiums, but Sierra Farrell.
That's what I was going to say. I love Sierra Farrell. I was like, I bet he's going to say Sierra Farrell.
Talk about being yourself.
Yes, I absolutely love her.
And being an individual.
Yes.
She sets the bar. I mean, she does not care what you think.
No,
she's going to do her thing. She's going to put herself out there. Yeah. And man, I don't know. She taps into a sound that
it's unreal.
I haven't found somebody that replicated it.
No, I like her a lot. I saw her at Railbird.
Yeah.
And I liked her in videos and stuff. But like we were talking about earlier, seeing somebody live is just so.
It's a different energy.
Different, and like you just feel something in your heart when she's up there. That's unreal. Like, I had shivers down my spine when she was up there.
It's a whole vibe. I saw her at the Burl. I was right up on stage against her.
I can only imagine. I was not, because obviously Railbird's 8 billion and 1 people. But, man, I was pretty close. I'll say that. I got there pretty early for it.
Railbird, okay, so festivals put off a different kind of energy, too. obviously you got like the crowd there and everybody
Yeah.
coming collectively together for like this huge moment. And you can feel in the artist too, you know, like for Sierra. Like I saw Billy Strings at Railbird.
Oh yeah.
Talk about a face melting experience.
That's awesome. Yeah.
I mean, I haven't found a concert or any kind of show to match it since. You know, seeing Billy Strings absolutely shred. You know, on an acoustic guitar. I mean,
Yeah, he's crazy.
He definitely sold his soul to the devil. No, I mean, I was listening to Dust in the Baggie years ago.
Yeah.
And once again, you know, it was another example of like seeing these people, you know, kind of come up and just like, but their art and what they're putting out into the world, and I guess that hustle. I mean, for lack of better terms, the hustle, but just that grind paying off. I mean,
he came from nothing. I mean, you look at that first Dust in the Baggie. It's, you know.
I mean, he was a kid. I mean, he was a kid.
And they're just partying. That guy's like,
it's getting wild.
Oh my gosh! Like, where'd this guy come from?
But I love that about that video too. Is like their friends was like, "What is this?" Yeah. You know, it's like the dudes that knew him personally. You know, it was like, "What did you just do?"
Yeah.
You did something significant here. But yeah, man, it's Billy, Sierra. I mean, all these people, and like it's cool to kind of catch them and like I said, see that development because people absolutely deserve it, and you see they earn it. They're making this art, they're putting it out there, and it's just really contributing and changing the culture.
Yeah.
Sierra has absolutely changed the culture.
I have nothing but good things to say about Sierra Farrell. She's unreal. I just have no other words for her. It's unreal. There's no way to really describe her. She doesn't fit in a box. She does.
She's her own
what
thing,
she wants.
yeah.
Even the covers that she does. Like we were talking about Seven Spanish Angels.
Oh yeah.
I love to hear her sing that, and I mean, she starts with like "Don't Let Me Down."
Yeah.
And years like those covers. Those are phenomenal. And then her writing and her playing abilities. Even she can play fiddle, she can play
anything. I mean,
guitar, anything she picks up. Seems like
West Virginia. She was in a horror movie.
Really?
Yeah, back before she was a musician at all. She was in like this horror movie.
I didn't know that.
It was like some really like very, very, very low budget. You can still see it online. It's hilarious though.
I'd say
so. But just see this West Virginia girl just really kind of come out of nowhere and just absolutely sweep the way she did. I mean, but it kind of shows that we're in a culture right now and we're in a space that we're not just kind of looking to Nashville to tell us what to like.
Yeah.
People are really making their own way.
Absolutely.
And the fans, the culture, we're appreciating the artists that are doing that.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm sitting here, because I mean, I'm sitting, like I said, next to, people that got more talent in their pinky finger than I do in my entire body.
You're talented. I remember watching you in church and being like, oh, wow. Like, I want to do that someday.
I'm just good at talking to people. That's my talent. That's why I'm in media. No, I appreciate that. But yeah, not to get too far into the voice, I don't want to go too long tonight, but let's go ahead and play a second one here.
Okay.
If you don't, like I said, artist, dealer's choice, do your thing.
I'm going to attempt this one. Now, this could be bad because this is an unreleased and
unreleased. What's it called?
This one's called Trash.
Trash. Okay.
It's a little goofy.
I dig it.
Getting ready to put this one out soon, so it's not out there yet.
Okay. I'm honored that you're playing here. Thank
you. You're welcome. I'm going to do a couple for you that I haven't put out. So.
I overheard her there in the grocery aisle, talking to a friend she ain't seen in a while about how he threw 3 years away for a bleach blonde and tender day. She started crying there next to the beans, saying he thinks she's prettier than me, and he got tired of the same old thing, so I had to intervene. Well, a worn out tire makes a damn good swing, and you can still get married with a pawn shop ring. Yeah, you still look good in thrift store jeans. Stop waiting around for him to treat you better, honey. One man's trash is another man's treasure. I just smiled and walked away, hoping she'd remember what I had to say, and that she'd say goodbye to Mr. Swipe Right. A few minutes later, she was in Altoona. talking to a fella with a George Strait grin. He said, I ain't seen you since I moved away, but I think about you every day. And I thought, well, a worn out tire makes a damn good swing, and you can still get married with the pawn shop ring. Yeah, you still look good in thrift store jeans. Stop waiting around for him to treat you better, honey. One man's trash is another man's treasure. 'Cause a worn out tire makes a damn good swing, and you can still get married with the pawn shop ring. Yeah, you still look good in thrift store jeans. Stop waiting around for him to treat you better, honey. One man's trash is another man's treasure. I overheard him there in the grocery aisle, talking to a friend he ain't seen in a while, about how he threw 3 years away for a bleach blonde tender day.
I love that. Hey, that's
Thank you.
You had me smiling the whole time. That was great. That was good. No, you're right. I love that.
Thank you.
That's definitely gonna be a hit, a fan favorite for
Oh,
sure.
thank you. I appreciate it. It was
that.
just kind of like a little silly thing. And I mean, it didn't come from a silly place.
A worn out tire can make a damn good swing. I like it. I like that. That's good. That's hey, it's catchy.
Thank
That's
you.
cool.
I appreciate that a lot.
So yeah, so I guess what went around that? I love the kind of the more lighthearted stuff. You know, I mean, obviously we do a lot of emotional, a lot of like heavy
Yeah.
song and songwriters, but I love like the lighter stuff. So
Well, it come from a darker place, but so I always tell this story, and everybody always laughs at me, but I was talking to this guy or dating this guy that only me and him knew we were dating, type of deal. And so I have some sad songs about him too, but you know, this was one where I was kind of like, you know what, I'm gonna pick myself up and I'm gonna dust myself off and I'm gonna quit talking to this guy. And you know, one man's trash is another man's treasure. And if he's gonna treat me like trash, then he don't deserve me anyway. So I kind of sat down and I was like, I just came up with a little, you know, I knew I wanted it to tag to be one man's trash is another man's treasure. Then I just started listing things, and there it came, you know.
Hey,
the tire was first, and
so you got that George Strait grin. Dude, that has really good lines in that, man.
Thank you.
I love that. No,
Thank
it is
you.
really it's catchy as heck. Man, this is moving fast. Sorry about my producer over here, Josh. We're supposed to have a producer cam tonight, but his phone is at capacity. We were recording Battle of the Bands this weekend.
yeah. Well, he looks great. Y'all just take my word for it.
I know he's wearing a nice shirt. He's wearing a nice shirt and everything. I mean, I might
got
have you
all
come over
dressed
here.
up for this camera and everything.
I know.
but-
I had my Sunday best on over here. This is my Sunday best.
Another good band there. Another good band.
Another good
you know.
band. Shouts out Sunday best. But no, it's but yeah, it's gonna be a fan favorite.
Well, thank you.
I promise.
I
It's gonna be a
appreciate
good one.
that. It's kind of goofy, but
But I also respect that artists that can kind of take, kind of go from that dark place instead of, turning it into a really, deep, dark, emotional song. You actually kind of take it and make it more upbeat and kind of like that.
Yeah.
You kind of take that higher arc.
yeah, I think you take the high road.
Yeah.
It's,
Hey, I love it. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. So, I mean, that's interesting. So I guess when we talk about songwriting and stuff, and developing these stories, coming up with these real catchy lines and stuff. Tell me a little bit about your process. Like, I
Okay.
guess, let's go into that a little bit.
yeah. Every time I'm asked about this, I always say like my ADD comes out whenever I have my process, because I'll start. Sometimes you're just picking around like practicing or whatever, and you come up with some sort of progression, and you're like, I kind of like that melody.
Yeah.
That happens to me a lot, and then I'll have had a song idea previously, kind of like I was just talking about. I knew I wanted the tagline to be a certain thing. So I'll just kind of take that melody and put words to it. And then other times, like with the judge, that was my quickest write.
Really?
Yeah, believe it or not, that was my quickest write.
Well, it was really personal too.
Yeah.
You can hear it.
I wrote that the night before I went in and recorded my first EP because I needed
Really?
another song.
No
And
kidding.
I had, thought about that and thought I need to write a song about that, obviously, when that happened, but I didn't sit down and do it. And that was kind of my motivation, to sit down and do it. So other times you have motivation like, man, I just want to write a new song. And I have this idea that's in my back pocket. I mean, I've got 2 books here just full of just lines that I've come up with. So
I was about to say, you showed up with like a whole, like a bunch of notebooks. So that's just kind of ideas, little lines, quips.
Yeah, just little things, people might say to me, or like he said that to me, or I thought I've had in my head, like, one man's trash is another man's treasure. Let's pick yourself up, girl, and move on with life. Like, I thought I just write down as a tagline. And
anyway, we had some emergency vehicles pass by just now. We're live, by the way. We're back live again. No, we had so me and Josh, we have a second podcast. Just us hanging out, talking about dad stuff. I mean, just a casual, loose podcast, but it's fun. It
sounds like
we
fun.
do it for us. We had to scrap an entire episode because Estill County had won the district girls championship.
Oh yeah,
and it was just nothing but one long procession of sirens and stuff.
Get the sirens going.
we just gave up.
Yeah, don't blame you.
Yeah, it was
that
like 10 minutes long
off.
of nothing but sirens.
It was a parade of sirens for a long time.
It's like SpongeBob whenever they curse on there.
Or whatever. But then, then it then it fades away and we start talking again, and like they make their loop back through town. I was like, I'm done. We're done. I was like, rude. Anyway, to get back into it, so we were talking about, I guess, the songwriting process. So you kind of have like lines and thoughts and like little quips and stuff. If you live, I guess stuff you run across in live, little random thoughts you have. Do you ever do anything like have a lick in mind on the guitar and just like build around that?
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes it starts with like a melodic structure. But other times, like my song Appalachian Man, it definitely started as it started as the chord progression. Yeah. And I really liked it. I thought it was pretty, so I wrote that song about my papa. So
yeah. Well, a lot of artists, and songwriters, they're kind of more, they lean one direction or another. They build around the music. Some build the music around the words.
I feel like I do the words first most of the time.
So that's how I was when back when I was more of in the songwriting phase and stuff. But so that I'm kind of along those lines too. That's cool though. It works though. But I like the way that you like I said, you come in with like 3 notebooks that just like full of just like these just like random lines and like stuff, and that's neat. But I guess I think we're like 35 or 6 minutes deep. If you want to, let's go ahead and play another one.
Okay.
Real quick. So what's like I said, dealer's choice. Just introduce it and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, this one's another new one, not released. Hopefully will be within the next few months. I don't know. I'm wanting to do some promotional stuff for this stuff, so I don't know how long it'll take to get out there.
It is an absolute honor. Thank you.
But I've never done this one, and it's not out there. So this one's called The Storm.
The Storm.
It's a little eerie.
Hey, I dig it.
This water's rising. I can't get no rest. My heart is beating out of my chest. It's still raining, but it's turning cold. Things get quiet as it starts to snow. Where do you go when you're alone? The house is empty, but you're always home. I keep telling myself it won't be long. I'm going somewhere. You can't do me wrong. I can't stay here. Maybe it'll get better. And after I'm gone, darkness surrounds me as we lie in bed. Thoughts are racing inside my head. The wind is howling, flash already dead. So where do you go when you're alone? The house is empty, but you're always home. I keep telling myself it won't be long. I'm going somewhere. Keep me wrong, and I can't stay. Maybe it'll get better after I'm gone. Did it get better now that I'm
Mom's like, your voice cracked.
You sounded great. No,
Thank you.
that was beautiful. That was beautiful. That was, man, that's a very emotional song. I love that. But like, I mean, pain is always the best conduit to art. I mean, and that's always kind of been the, I guess, the nature of things. But yeah, you can definitely feel that authenticity in that.
Thank you.
I mean, it really comes out. And you criticizing yourself there, but I think it sounded awesome. Very cool.
you.
But hey, though, it's very, very neat. No, and thank you, like, once again for like introducing that on our podcast.
Yeah,
I know that's
absolutely.
going to be one people love.
Thank you. That one's really awesome, full band. I've got Alton Oldfield. He plays with Reed Fields. He plays steel guitar for me. He's done some really, really awesome things on that song right there. And then also I have Daniel Huff.
Yeah.
He played on, both of them play for Luke Trimble too.
Yeah.
Headed Out the Holler, that album he's got. Shout out to Luke. That's
Yeah,
one
shout
of
out
my
Luke.
favorite albums to listen to right now. You know, people in this scene.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorites right now. But
Yeah, he's great.
they've done some really cool. They did some really cool work on his album, but they've done some really cool work on these songs. So I'm really excited for people to hear them. And
So I guess let's bridge on that a little bit. It's like, because we always talk about, you know, on this podcast, you know, the community and just like how
Yeah.
everybody's like very supportive. Everybody's just kind of like,
yeah.
you know, just like very, very supportive. So how'd you come into contact with these guys and, you know, get to work with them?
So I was very fortunate to I opened up for somebody, and then I kind of got my band that way.
Yeah.
Because they saw me opening, and then they actually moved to Nashville this summer. So I've kind of been rebuilding my band.
Okay.
But Alden's always been with me for the last almost 4 years.
So you looking for people currently, or?
Well, I think I've finally got it nailed down.
Okay.
Daniel's playing for me full time now. I met Daniel through those guys.
Yeah.
They were like, "Hey, you should get him to sub for bass sometime," because I actually can't keep a bass player. They always go and play for somebody else. My first bass player,
Finicky people.
my first bass player, he plays for Chase Matthew now.
Yeah.
And then my second bass player, he plays for Tyler Booth now. So
okay.
I've kind of just, hey, you should work for me. Maybe you'll get hired by somebody else.
Shouts out Tyler. Hey, Tyler's another one,
Yeah,
man.
he's
I'm
great
telling you.
too. But yeah, those guys, they kind of gave me a lot of confidence in my abilities and stuff too, and my writing, and made me want to do it more. And so I definitely need to shout them out.
I mean, obviously you're very natural, very, you know, exceptional talent yourself,
Thank
but to
you.
have like a great, you know, people behind you, kind
Yeah.
of lifting you up and like, you know, raising that platform even higher.
Thank you.
It's a big deal. I can't wait to hear the studio version of that. I can't wait to hear with the people behind you playing that.
Yeah, thank you
that
so
one
much.
is going to be a good
Thank
one.
you. I also have Austin Clark on that one on the drums. He lives in Nashville now, but he comes back, and he's so gracious to travel back and forth for me every now and then. So I really appreciate him as well. So those are the three people you'll hear on the tracks.
Yeah.
Whenever they do come out, and Daniel's actually playing bass too. So I was like, I got myself a one-man band here.
Just do
He
it
plays
all.
drums now too. He'll get up there and play some
It's
stuff.
like,
so.
what was it, like the old cartoons, like the one person has like the drums and the cymbals and the clap, you know.
He's that monkey with the
Yeah, there you go. No, that's awesome though. But no, it is a beautiful song. You can feel the pain in it, but at the same time, like there's so much beauty that kind of presents in that pain, and
you.
it comes out in a very, very honest way. I love that.
I think that everybody can kind of relate because,
Oh yeah,
like, at the time when I wrote that was like that crazy weather. So this was like recent, like February when I wrote this. Another one that I was kind of like, hey, I'm going to go in the studio. But this one was finished last minute too. And we had that starts talking about, the snow at the beginning and the rain. And like we went from rain, we had that flood again, devastatingly.
My garage flooded in February.
Yeah.
Again.
It's crazy. And then we had that snowstorm. And so that's kind of where that came from. And then just thinking about, things that go on in people's lives. There's storms in us. And just, talking about that. So.
Well, I love that. I love how that's kind of an inspiration. I mean, because obviously, like at the beginning, we leaned very heavily into like the Appalachian flood relief. Especially for the people coming off the 2022 floods, which is that's when our garage flooded the first time. We're the only house in Powell County, but it wasn't a river flood; it was a flash flood. But the folks in Eastern Kentucky, Wattsburg, Jackson. I mean, I can't imagine the kind of pain and just kind of loss that they have felt. Yeah,
it was definitely scary. My family up there.
I was gonna say your bunch is from there.
Yeah, I talked about actually went on another podcast earlier. It was never released. It was through UK, but I talked about that a lot because it had just happened and just it was really awesome to see. I know that sounds ironic. No, it was the devastation was not okay and fun to see. It was nice to see the coming together and the the people that didn't have anything left, but they were still out there helping each other, and that was very
an unfortunate aspect of that flooding was that the federal aid fell very, very, very short.
It did.
So the community and people, we've stepped up, our neighbors, our friends, our families came together and really funneled that support into this region and kind of built it up where the federal government, fell short. And like I said, obviously I do my part. Well, as of last month in April, I'm now the secretary of the Red River Gorge chapter of Foundation for Appalachian Kentucky. Oh, awesome. So mainly I can type fast. I just keep the minutes. That's all I do. But one of our biggest things is flood relief, and obviously like we have, being the Red River Gorge chapter, a lot of our, member groups are, high flood impacted regions. Yeah. So that's one of our big things. And obviously my buddy Austin Shuck, he does so much like disaster relief stuff, but that is a really major focus of this podcast just because, people need to realize that, these areas that were affected did not get any kind of support that they should have gotten. And it was literally up to us.
It was, yeah.
To rebuild these places.
It definitely, like, just the stuff that I saw said, too, about, like, we chose that and we were stupid for building near. Like, people don't understand. That was a holler where my family lived, and it's just a little creek. Like, it's not like we're living on a houseboat or something.
What happened in 2022 was biblical for like about it never happened.
It's crazy.
Who can predict that?
Crazy.
Yeah, trying to blame the residents there.
I know. I was like, are you joking me? Like that's disgusting. So
nobody these man. I know. I'm always preaching all the time, especially just being my house has got impacted by flooding twice now, but it's like, but just never. I know people. I've lost friends that have underestimated water.
Yeah.
Never underestimate the power of moving water, and just the devastation that it brings. No. If Katrina didn't wake the nation up to show the devastating nature of water, we know what it's going to, I guess. So, but anyway, let's not get too far in that one. But yeah,
we can talk about the floods all day. But
I'll take the opportunity again to kind of channel the Pitch for Relief, Foundation for Appalachian Kentucky or Appalachian Pioneer Program. Go to the WSKV Facebook page where they can Ethan shares links to really guide you in the right direction. So check it out
for sure.
Anyway. Circle back. So I think we're at like 45 minutes. We have time for one more. There's so much more I want to talk about too. But,
okay.
Let's go ahead and play one more, and then we'll kind of talk about it and start giving your plugs and whatnot.
I don't play this one a lot out either. This is one that I always say that one before I play it. I really enjoy this song though. It's called The Line.
The Line.
Chasing this dream until my time ends. Keep Everybody say when you live in hell too long, the devil becomes your friend. But he don't know he can't have my soul. I left it where I began. And there's a line I'm trying not to cross, the one between living right and getting lost. The beginning, yeah, the place you want to leave. I can't wait to get in. Some will lose and some will win. He's gaining ground, and I'm losing sleep. And the hole that I'm digging is almost 6 foot deep. But there's a line I'm trying not to cross, the one between living right and getting lost. The beginning, yeah, the place you want to leave. I can't wait to get in. Some will lose and some will win.
I don't want to get through that one.
I love that abrupt stuff, man. That's cool. No, I mean, you have an amazing voice. I mean, you really do. I mean, like the way that you hit your register, though, and like the way you kind of travel from down here to up here and like hit those peaks, but it's so like smooth and so flawless.
Thank you.
How
I
is
don't know about today.
I
I appreciate that.
No, you sound awesome. Now I know like Jessica Beckley did a lot of that because obviously she belts.
Yeah,
I know
she does.
she was your vocal coach, so that really kind of presents there. But yeah, just the fact that you can do that, like I don't know, it's impressive.
Thank you.
So let's talk a little bit about that song. So kind of what went into that one?
So I was playing music with this fella, and I was actually his like smoke break music. So he kind of got me into the bar circuit actually. Okay. And he for a while was having some issues. He was incredibly talented, but like substance issues.
No, yeah.
And he kind of vented to me about that, and it got me thinking like this industry, like it waits for nobody.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what this is about, and just the struggles that everybody has, and either you're gonna, like you're talking about selling your soul, you're either gonna make it or you're not, and you're either gonna let the demons take a hold of you, or you're gonna overcome that and kind of.
Yeah, I think, and that's a time will tell too. Like you got so many like talented people and so many talented musicians that that struggle with this, and so many amazing creators. At the same time, so much art comes out of that too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, like I said, what that old meme, I guess, is like Miles Davis. Look at pre-Miles Davis, pre-substance abuse and post-substance abuse.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's like the pain and that visceral just kind of angst and that just insecurity, which really is at the base of substance abuse and stuff like that. It always presents in like a very unique and creative way.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not advocating for substance abuse.
No, we're not at all. But I definitely get what you're saying, and I definitely understand what you're saying there.
But it's like, that kind of harkens back to just a moment ago. I'm sorry, a little flicker there. But no, like. Pain is one of the greatest conduits to creativity and to art and music, or any kind of art. I mean, look at the most, the greatest painters in history, the greatest, musicians. I mean, like, are obviously the most tragic stories. Yeah. But yeah, it's just as far as your success in this circuit, it really is kind of about buying into it, you know, and really investing yourself and how much you're going to put yourself into it. So I guess talk a little bit about, you know, kind of going from like the church circuit to the bar circuit.
Yeah, that was definitely culture shock for me.
Yeah, so how'd that go?
So I played in my first bar with a band called the Nashville Imposters. I'm sure you're familiar because I went to church with.
Yeah, shouts out Nashville Imposters.
Yeah. So that kind of took me to my first bar when I was 12 years old. It was Comedy Off Broadway, and
Yeah, we love Comedy Off Broadway.
And they let me in there to play.
Shout out.
And I'm thankful that they did. Kind of gave me a taste of, you know, the real world, what people are like in the bar scene. And I guess they quit doing that for a little bit, or I guess I just quit doing that. I was in Highway 15 and played a lot of festivals and things. And then opened for the guy I was talking about earlier. Yeah. Found my band, and we started rehearsing every Thursday, and I was like, I think we're ready to go out and do this thing. And I just started any place that had music, mostly, you know, in this area, it's bars.
That just brought down.
So I hit up every bar within a 50-mile radius. And,
I know your schedule has been aggressive. I mean, I follow you online, man, and I see kind of the places you're playing and places you're planning on playing, and you're you know, you've had some awesome bills too, man.
I have played with some really cool people.
Very cool stuff going on. It's exciting, man, and but like I said, we could talk forever. Like I said, we're kind of approaching an hour. We're kind of hitting that window, like I was telling you earlier. Algorithmically, we keep it at about 1 hour because it helps our numbers. You know, definitely share this, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, all that good stuff. But there's so much more I want to talk about. I mean, obviously, you know, I'm kind of catching up with you because obviously I've known you forever. You know, we're friends and stuff. But there's so much more to your story, and I'd love to have you back on too.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And bring whoever you want next time. Like for those who don't know, her sister is Miss Kentucky. She's extremely talented too. I mean, it's crazy. Like, you know, it's the gene pools in this area. It's wild. But yeah, no, it's you know, listen, I really, really, really appreciate you coming on. Episode 10 is a really big deal for us. This is a milestone, and the fact that you're sitting here with me and playing these songs and introducing music is a very big honor for me, and I really appreciate you coming out.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate y'all having me.
Before we plug out here, let's get your plugs and your shout outs and all that good stuff.
All right.
Where can people find your music?
You can find my music pretty much anywhere that you want to. It's in places that I don't even know. I'm just going to throw that out. Go through a distributor. That's the Joys. They put
MySpace, okay.
Yeah, they put it wherever. Yeah, maybe on Webkins. I don't know. We might hear it on there. It's coming back. But
buy your cassettes at
Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Amazon Music. You can find me on social media. I'm trying to be better about that. My TikTok is Hannah Wheeler Music. My Instagram's Hannah Wheeler Music, and then on Facebook we're under Hannah Wheeler and the Heartaches. That's my band. Yeah,
Hannah Wheeler and Heartaches. Yeah, well, we didn't bring that up before you, but yeah, so Hannah Wheeler and Heartaches. Yes. Awesome, very, very cool. Listen, it was very cool. And like I said, once again, I'll keep repeating it. Thank you so much for playing like original stuff and like new stuff. I mean, because when we have guests come on here and actually introduce things to people using our platform, it is beyond a tremendous honor.
Well, I appreciate y'all hanging with me and making it through the songs because, like I said, new ones, you know, you kind of got to fill out and.
That's all you get.
That's what you get for breaking them out, right?
No, that's what you put them out there, man. And no, it's gonna be great. And I cannot wait to, like I said, I can't wait to hear these with that band behind you, and I can't wait to hear like the studio version.
Thank you. I'm excited for everybody to hear.
They're gonna be great. They're gonna be great.
Thank you.
But anyway, thanks for tuning in to episode 10 of Hollerachia Podcast. Definitely check out, you know, our other one, the Aggressively Passive Podcast. Check out Midnight Ride Media on YouTube, which is where we kind of post our venue content and stuff. And definitely check out Hollerachia Podcast on Spotify, Facebook, YouTube. I need to get better. I'm way behind on uploading on our Spotify, but I'll get on that, guys. Sorry. But once again, thank you, and please come back. I want to have you on again.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Bye, guys.